We've just stopped along the way just to rest our tired feet for a few minutes, and we're just going to look at a few photos together that Andy's got that we can't exactly pinpoint, so we're going to show you those.
This is a very sad picture taken roughly round here within 100 yards or so. This is a class 25 with, it looks like a breakdown crane, but it isn't. It's actually a track lifting gang. The track was lifted on this section in May of 1966, and here you can see the class 25 with the breakdown crane behind it lifting the track. There's another picture of the train. Here you can see the brake van, which they would have used basically for storing people and goods and any tooling that was required. Here you can quite clearly see the track that's already been lifted, put on onto a low loader here. They would have had probably about 10 sections in total, because of the height restriction and also the weight that they were carrying. Now this track, if it was in good condition, would have been carried off and used somewhere else. If not, it would have just been scrapped. And the last picture I can show you is the actual crane and lifting the track itself. Very sad pictures because, as I say, the track was lifted and no longer there and probably would never ever be returned. Such a shame. You can just see that we've walked along the old track bed, just coming down here, and we are now roughly in this spot here. This is a picture of Westfield Road nurseries. This area now is mostly taken up by Riverford Close. Westfield Drive is on the lower part of the picture. This was dated about 1957. Unfortunately, we can't replicate this picture because it's all gone, all built on.
Now, because Andy's been here many a time, underneath this ivy here, straight ahead of me, is the first of 3 telegraph poles. Now, obviously, in the summer, it's hiding, but you just see the top of it here as they come up, just poking through. I'll try and go in a little closer. There. Just see it? And here's the second one. Now this one hasn't been climbed up by ivy. But you wouldn't notice this if you weren't looking for it, would you, eh? In fact, we just had 2 runners go past this and probably have no idea they're there. So we would have filmed the 3rd telegraph pole. But it's completely covered in foliage, and I'm not going to walk through this just to try and film it, so we'll have to film it another time for you. It's there somewhere. Well, actually you can see it with the naked eye, but not with the camera.
This picture here was taken from the top of Westfield Road Bridge. Quite clearly in the background you can see the chalet type bungalow house, which is still there. The houses on the right hand side, but you can also see the brick abutments, the brick overbridge that was there at the time. Obviously this is now all gone, but however the bridge is still there, just been filled in.
So there's the buildings, as you can see, and left to right, it's physically there, just built up.
Just underneath here is the bridge. It's just been filled in. Here we are on the corner of Westfield Road and Beeching Close. Beeching Close, what a guy. Beeching was actually the name of the guy who closed not just this branch line, but about 1/3 of the national network in the 1960s. Unfortunately, railways in the 1960s were a bad word. Not many people wanted to work for the railways, and they were in a lot of financial constraints. They owed the government a lot of money, and something had to be done. Beeching was bought in from ICI to try and save some money.
So, you know, they kindly named a close after him. I'm sure he's extremely happy about that.
Yeah, it was quite funny because in his lifetime, one of the preserved railways, I can't remember where it was, actually invited him to reopen the line that he closed. And to be fair to him, he did.
Right.
He reopened it. He was given a remit to do. The report come out in 1963, the shaping of British railways, and it became the death knell to so many railways up and down the country. This is a lovely picture showing an N7 propelling some old Great Northern coaches, Gresley teak coaches, up towards Harpenden. You can see it's going up because the smoke is coming behind it. When I say propelling, you can see quite clearly that it's driving bunker first. Now, bunker first meant that the train come from Welwyn Garden City in its normal way with the chimney to the front. But because there's nowhere to turn the locos round, they would have to come backwards. And it looks like they're going backwards, but that was quite normal for branch lines. And as you can see here, it's all countryside. Here was allotments, but it's all built on now. The bridge has been filled in and there's nothing left of this at all.
In fact, you would have no idea it was even there.
No.
So to our right now is the track bed. It would have been in these houses, gardens here, which we won't film. And we're now walking along the allotments on the left-hand side of the track.
Coming into Harpenden, we have the remains of what was the outer home signal. The outer home meant obviously if the signal was at danger, it meant you had to stop at the next signal being the home signal.
I remember pointing this out to Callum when I walked through with him, but the second time I walked through with him I couldn't see it, so...
Definitely there.
It's a bit hidden though.
I do know what happened to the top 8 foot where the signal is, but I'll keep that very secret for now.
Yeah.
It'll come apparent one day, I'm sure, but I know who had the top bit. With permission, mind.
Of course.
With permission.
Of course.
And as Gavin pans round, you can see quite clearly the track bed now heading into Harpenden East Station.
Lots of sunlight coming through, but we'll show you further up. So after quite a bit of walking, we're now at number 15, Ox Lane. And they've done a little bit of work to recap it, re-renovate it. And the good thing about this little bridge is we can actually go down and have a look from below. So we'll do that. And we took a small little walk down the little steps, and we're pleased to say we can see the bridge in situ. Look at that.
Yep.
And for any of you that know about Andy's Harpenden layout, you will see this bridge on that layout.
Indeed, yes. It's a typical standard, as I've already said before, brick arch, built to the same style, possibly even the same dimensions as previous bridges that we've already come across, or as in some cases aren't there anymore. The only thing I will say is that this is built slightly wider to allow a path to one side. Now you must remember, when this bridge was built in the late 1850s, Ox Lane itself would have been a tiny little lane. Cold Harbour Lane, you can see running parallel at the bottom there, was just a little track. Hardly anything used it.
I suppose that's probably links to why it was called Ox Lane. Yeah.
Very likely. We've now reached the end of today's walk. We have now reached Harpenden East Station, my heartland. This is where my train spotting days, my love of railways really did begin. I can just about remember Harpenden East Station before it was totally demolished and turned into this. We are going to do another separate talk on Harpenden East Station, so I won't dwell too much about it, but as you can see now, there is absolutely nothing left of it. it's very difficult to get a conception of what was here and where it was. But promise me I will do it.
Yeah, so we're walking along what was the railway.
Yes,
The
this
station
was the track
itself.
bed. Yeah, station was literally just up there where them cars on the left-hand side are parked.
Yeah.
So
So here's the kissing gate, okay. It's hiding a little bit, but we know it's here. Just keep it in mind, because we're going to show you this in its heyday, when it had a picture. Now we're going to show you a picture of a brick arch, but the kissing gate is behind me, and there's just a little bit of infrastructure still here. Here on the left, you can just about see some. There. And there's actually a railway sleeper just here on the right that's hiding in the shadows. So this is a picture now looking down through this little walkway with the kissing gate at the end.
yes, this was actually bridge number 14. It was basically a pedestrian arch. That's all it was, for pedestrians to come underneath the railway line and cross over to the paddock that was behind us and then into Harpenden itself.
Yeah, so as Andy pans away, at the end is the kissing gate, and here is where the arch was.
Once you'd come through the little subway, you would have come up at a much steeper angle over here, and the public footpath would have gone across those houses diagonally, not like it is now. And I'm going to show you one more thing of interest. Okay, the last part of showing you my beloved Harpenden East is one of the actual original fence posts that were put in. All this side was paddock, where a horse used to live. What happened was, when they used to do shunting, sometimes they'd have to shunt an odd wagon or two. Well, they wasn't going to keep a steam train or a locomotive here, it's too expensive. So they used to have a horse, and the horse would collect a wagon and move it, because a horse is much stronger than a man. So they used to have a good shed, and at one end a stable where the horse used to be, and this will become apparent when we do the Harpenden East. But this is the original fence post, and behind it the ratchet system where the cable used to go, and all that side was a paddock. This is an amazing find.
Well, that concludes our first section where we've walked from Luton to Harpenden East Station. We hope you've enjoyed that, and I thank Andy for the time and effort in preparing all of this.
Pleasure.
It has took us a very long time to put together due to other issues, such as it kept raining every time we were going to do it.
Yep.
But we look forward to showing you our next video,
Yep.
which will focus in more on the station here that was here.
My beloved Harpenden East.
And we encourage you to subscribe if you can, leave a comment if you'd like to, hopefully a nice one, and encourage others to have a look at the channel if you want. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. April, no it wasn't. The track was lifted in sections, in this section, in... Right, we're in the cutting now.
Hang on, we're overexposed. Look at my forehead. There you go. I'll have that, thank you very much.
This is a lovely picture, quite easily showing Westfield Bridge as it was. As I said, it was built originally for 2 tracks. You can just see the arc of the bridge going over the coaches and then much, much farther on. You can see here an N7 propelling